tech-driven business, I continue my conversation with Iver Zand, Vice President of Product Strategy for Augmented Business Intelligence at SAP. In this episode, we build on our past conversation about the data-driven enterprise and dive into the case for Data Warehouse Cloud and the relationship with SAP Analytics Cloud, and how that combination is adding significant value for customers. Hello, Iver. Welcome back to our second session. It's good to have you back.
Super glad, thank you, man. Super glad to be on your show again. I really love to talk about our topics together. So thanks for having me.
All right. So in this session, I'd like to ask you about your current role at SAP and how would you classify your role? Is it as a visionary, as a designer, or doer? Can you elaborate on that, please?
Yeah, I'll try to. Yeah, so what I'm doing, I am working officially as owning the strategy and the solution management for analytics for SAP. And that's a long sentence. What it basically means is if you look at from a very holistic perspective to SAP, of course, we have a vast amount of people working on selling the software. We have a vast amount of people working, let's call it the factory where we develop the software. Well, I'm in the latter, yeah? And within that area, I, with my team, own the go-to-market. We own the strategy, where we invest in the product, what we recognize from the field, where we should better the product, where we want to extend, where we want to reposition ourselves for analytics. Plus, a last element that I also own is the full commercialization and licensing of the product. So the topic that most people do not want to talk about with me, or maybe they do.
No, that's great. That's really helpful to get a full background on what you have been doing and what really you're passionate about. So with that, let's dive into our conversation. So in our session today, I like to zoom into the SAP's Data Warehouse Cloud and SAP's Analytics Cloud products. And I know we heard this thing in the past, why 1 + 1 = 3. So how does that sound as a conversation for this session?
No, absolutely. And I think it also refers to an earlier conversation that we had where people and our customers really want to become data-driven enterprises. I think we concluded in that discussion that if you want to become a data-driven enterprise, you need to master and control the amount of data, all these data sources, wherever they are. You need to be able to master and control the quality of data. So your governance, your business value that you have in warehouses and what have you. And you need to master and control the usage of data. Well, I think if we map that a little bit, those three elements, amount, quality, and usage, towards our current product positioning, then typically we position over there our HANA stack, to master and control volume, our BW Data Warehouse Cloud stack to master and control governance, quality of data, business value of data, and with the usage of data, we typically position SAP Analytics Cloud. So I'm happy to discuss that with you. I'm very passionate about it.
Awesome. So, now let's talk about Data Warehouse Cloud, right? What was the case for SAP for introducing Data Warehouse Cloud, even though there were other products like, Business Warehouse already available to them? So can you just talk about, what drove SAP to get into Data Warehouse Cloud as a product?
Yeah, I think explaining that or summarizing the reasoning behind our initiative to launch Data Warehouse Cloud, I think we need to call out 4 elements. Yeah. So first of all, super important to understand and to, I would say, realize that enterprises are massively adopting cloud. Massively. Everybody is going to the cloud. If I just call out one specific number for the CAGR, the annual growth rate for analytics towards the cloud, that is already growing 35%. It's just an example. So just my statement, companies massively want to go into the cloud. Second, why do they want to do that? They are looking for super flexible solutions that they don't have to manage. super flexible solutions that run in the cloud. Somebody else takes care of it. In the case of SAP Data Warehouse Cloud, it's of course SAP running it and maintaining it and looking at after all the versions and what have you. Yeah, so they don't want to worry about the technology too much. It just needs to work and add value to their core business. That's the second one. Yeah. Third element is that, and I think we also touched that in our previous conversations, enterprises have an enormous need for agility. Yeah, everything needs to be real time. They want to have access to data now. They want to take business decisions now, not in an hour, not this evening, not tomorrow. Something happens and they want to act immediately. They have to act immediately to be to keep their competitive advantages. So that I would say that need for having live real-time insights is a third reason for us to really come up with Data Warehouse Cloud and ensure that we can bring that to our customers. And a fourth need I would call out is a need for elasticity. Yeah, and I hope I pronounce it well in English, but elasticity in the sense that customers want to easily onboard things like new users or additional power. Yeah, something is going to happen. I have a big closure next quarter. I expect a lot of people doing some planning cycles or what have you. I temporarily want more power in my data warehouse, yeah, or more space or more compute power. The elasticity also in the sense that, hey, wait a second, next quarter we will have a additional data source. We use some additional data from a third party. We only have access to it in that specific quarter. I temporarily want to add that new data source and I want to drop it off again the quarter afterwards. Well, that is all in that perspective of elasticity. Summarized, going to the cloud, cloud-driven data warehousing, managed by big vendors like us, SAP, super live, super real-time, and super elastic. Those four elements were for us the main reason to develop and install Data Warehouse Cloud.
No, definitely. I think I like your way you summarized it. That was very well done. I can, from a customer's perspective and as being in the industry for over 20 years myself and working in business warehouse and, all the cloud technologies, I can totally relate to what you are saying over here. I mean, it just takes it from where we were in the past to where we are going in the future. This makes like a great transition for customers.
Yeah.
So that kind of brings me to my next conversation. How close are Data Warehouse Cloud and SAC, from a relationship perspective to each other? And what level of interoperability is there? And what can we expect, from a customer's point of view?
Yeah, well, superb question. For us as SAP, they are extremely closely related to each other. Even literally, yeah, the moment that you would decide today, Mustansir, to purchase Data Warehouse Cloud, to assign for usage of Data Warehouse Cloud, the strong prerequisite is that you must use SAP Analytics Cloud as well. Yeah, so no Data Warehouse Cloud without SAC, even though it's open to third-party analytics tools as well. So super closely related towards each other and strongly interoperable. What does that mean? That means literally that from within Data Warehouse Cloud, you set up your data sources, you start running your spaces, you start deploying data and federating data, bringing it together. You have immediate access to SAP Analytics Cloud from within Data Warehouse Cloud. Yeah. So also, if you would use a separate SAP Analytics Cloud instance and you want to connect to Data Warehouse Cloud, of course, we have that live connection over there. So the interoperability is huge. Yeah. Secondly, we also work, and that is where the development of SAP is in right now, is things like modeling. Yeah, so Data Warehouse Cloud is of course very strongly positioned for complex modeling of various data sources that you want to bring together, that you want to do some ELT on, or what have you. Well, with SAP Analytics Cloud, of course, you want to leverage from all that work that you've done there, all the blendings that are in place, all those elements that you have set up in that data warehouse, you want to benefit from. Well, we guaranteed and we ensured that you can do that today with SAP Analytics Cloud. So they are very, very closely related towards each other. If you ask me, hey, what is happening in the next year? Where's SAP investing? Well, I can tell you as part of the top 3 priorities for us to invest is really to make that interoperability even stronger towards each other.
Oh, that is really interesting, especially when you are looking at these two products, and a lot of times customers look at these as separate products, but you summed it up very well. And when you talk about the future investment from SAP, I think that kind of sums it up well. So especially customers who are looking at going this route, what they should be expecting, right? So that kind of leads me into my next question here. What would you suggest, especially for customers, when customers apply the combination of Data Warehouse Cloud and SAC? Can you share some of the use cases where you're seeing customers doing that together?
Oh yes, absolutely. Yeah. So there are countless use cases. So typically, what you see is let's take an example that probably everybody knows. Customers already using a SAP BW system. Yeah. So having a data warehouse and maybe combining that with an analytics tool like Business Objects or maybe even SAP Analytics Cloud today. Those customers who really want to become a cloud organization, data driven in the cloud, they typically extend BW with Data Warehouse Cloud. You do not have to replace BW with Data Warehouse Cloud immediately. Even stronger, some customers ask me, is Data Warehouse Cloud the replacement of BW? It is not. Yeah, it is an extension too. But Data Warehouse Cloud is so powerful, it can also run autonomously as your core data warehouse. Yeah, it's up to you. But typically, a use case that we see is that BW customers start gradually onboarding Data Warehouse Cloud, and they combine that with the insights of SAP Analytics Cloud, gradually moving into the cloud. Yeah, gradually moving into a way where SAP starts managing the technology, yeah, and they manage the value and the content. This is a use case that I see quite often. Of course, we already have customers doing that. Luckily, yeah. So we spoke in a previous conversation regarding companies like Porsche, yeah, but also their colleagues from Volkswagen, yeah, use that same technology already. Yeah, we have big retailers in Europe, but also in the US, already using that technology. If you go to our website that we use to share everything regarding the data superpower, so whether it's HANA, whether it's Data Warehouse Cloud, whether it's SAP Analytics Cloud, that website is called saphanajourney.com. Yeah, so I'll repeat that for your listeners, saphanajourney.com, where you see countless use cases and countless customers that already applied big parts of the data superpower or portions of it and being super successful with it.
No, that is very helpful. I mean, I think, and that is the key, right? A lot of customers who are in flight, especially looking at having a hybrid model, right? This seems like a good pathway for them to move forward. And I think I like to add one more thing to it, especially folks who are looking at not only going to cloud, but if they are doing an ERP upgrade, like, going either to S4 or already in S4, and how will that fit in with this data warehouse cloud in their environment? Are there any suggestions, any things that you like to highlight there?
Yeah, well, it of course depends a little bit. Yeah, I think the use case that you mentioned when it comes to ERP customers moving into S4, well, especially whether it is S4 today, we already have a seamless integration. Customers who move to S4 HANA, we have a seamless integration with Analytics Cloud. Yeah, customers who move that way and say, "Hey, I want to combine that with live connectivity with SAP Analytics Cloud." We ship integration packages which are basically turnkey. Yeah, you define where your S4 is, you define your tenant where Analytics Cloud is, you set up the link, and a vast majority of pre-built business content is available for you. Similar customers who say, wait a second, I am not moving from my traditional ERP to S4HANA on-premise, but I prefer to move immediately to S4HANA in the cloud. Mm-hmm. Over there, we even go a step further. Yeah, S4HANA in the cloud is shipped with Analytics Cloud. End of the line. End of the line. S4HANA Cloud comes with SAP Analytics Cloud. It is woven into it. The embedded analytics for S4HANA Cloud is SAP Analytics Cloud. Well, that embedding of technology with content, but also the technology itself, you see us do more and more and more. In the end, and I'll make a blunt statement over here, but in the end, every core LOB application of SAP, whether it's Ariba, whether it's SuccessFactors, Fieldglass, Concur, in the end, the embedded analytics for all those core applications will become SAP Analytics Cloud. End of the line. We started that journey. Yeah, we are more or less in the middle of it. Yeah, products like S4HANA Cloud, SuccessFactors, Fieldglass are already shipped with Analytics Cloud, Data Warehouse Cloud as well. Yeah, others coming very, very soon. So that's one element. Second element is that what we also do for customers who move into that S4 space, apart from the technology, we massively invest in business content, not only for Analytics Cloud, but also for Data Warehouse Cloud. Meaning that if you onboard that technology, you get for so many use cases, and we are not talking about 10, yeah, but we have over 100 use cases, whether it's S4HANA Finance. Yeah, if you win that and you want to combine it with Analytics Cloud, you get the business content that had all the dashboards prepared for you. Well, that is a trend that I see increasingly growing also in 2021, that we as SAP focus a lot on delivering additional business content for both Data Warehouse Cloud as well as SAP Analytics Cloud.
That was awesome. Yeah, that's great insight right there. I think, and that's what the listeners will take away from this conversation, especially when they are looking at this journey and they see where SAP is investing and what direction they are taking with SAP Analytics Cloud being part of this line of businesses, as well as S4HANA Cloud. So definitely, I think it's a great direction in terms of where they should be focusing on, moving forward. So with that, I'd like to thank you for coming onto my show and sharing your thoughts and insights about the data superpower, the power of Data Warehouse Cloud, and with the SAP Analytics Cloud. Iver is definitely a visionary when it comes to data and analytics. He and his team at SAP understand that customers have a massive abundance of data. SAP's ability to create a data value formula and business technology platform to help customers turn their data into intelligence results in significant value for customers. As Iver says, Data Warehouse Cloud provides significant value by enabling customers to connect, transform, model, and visualize their data collaboratively with no additional applications required. It's a seamless solution. Stay tuned for future episodes with Iver.